to create an impact in the world, like show people how definitely can change their life. I mean, they can heal their life, they can improve their life, they can see the magic that happen when you take action
Mm,
and work for yourself to be better.
mm. And what's your story? Like, what brought you here to this point?
My story, wow, my story, like my story is very sad story.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican. So I
mm-hmm,
just came here 6 years. I'm a clinical social worker and I'm a therapist.
mm,
I always have struggle in my life. So I come in for a very dysfunctional family, a lot of abuse, a lot of issues, abandonment. So, but I always wanted to be and to do something beyond to be in a work tonight to 5.
mm,
And when I moved to United States, so I start to learn how can I improve myself and what people successful do. So I start to see that they do meditation. So I say, okay, if they can do meditation, I can do meditation as well. So I start to practice meditation in and out for a few years. So I start in my path of spirituality 2 years ago without knowing, and that definitely changed my life. Start into a spiritual awakening, and all the things start to change because all that struggle that I have, all that emotion that I never managed before, start to come up and start to make a lot of noise in myself. And and say I get sick. I have a lot of pain inside of me, emotional pain, and I say I feel that I'm dying. I feel that I'm dying, and I ask to God and to the universe for help because I say I feel that I'm dying. I can't deal with the pain, and I don't know where the pain comes from. So, and that point, the universe start to show me options like here's the first option: go to that school and learn how to heal. Um, and in the beginning, I have a lot of resistance because I never invest in myself.
mm-hmm,
And I was a coach, health coach in that point. I made the course for being health coach because I tried to overcome my emotional eating problems.
mm-hmm,
I always cope with food. I was emotional eater. Um, and but even though I learned how to cope and manage food,
mm,
inside of me I always have a deep sense of I don't belong. I'm not. I That's kind of sadness. I don't like myself. I hate myself. I don't like in the way that I am. So when I start to heal and I went to that school more than a year ago, so everything started to change. Everything started to improve. I start to see, and I was very confronted because I always say, oh, I always thought that I'm very functional, but I'm very dysfunctional person, and I never realized that.
mm,
So, and that dysfunctional brought me a lot of relationship issues, friendship issues, a lot of things that I always thought that was normal, and I always blame others. Oh, the fault is for others. Nobody appreciate me. Nobody. They have the problem, not me.
mm,
So when I start to assume 100% of responsibility for myself, for my emotions, for what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, is when the magic start to happen. So as more I heal, as more everything changed in my life, all the things change in my life completely. My relationship changed. The friend that I start to attract to my life was very different. Everything started to happen. So um that's where my message comes from. So when I see the importance to heal,
mm,
I said inside of me, that's my mission. My mission is help others how manage their emotion and heal, because healing emotionally is everything. They change your perception, your mindset, your life, the kind of things that you attract. Everything that you give to yourself is what you're going to attract to yourself. The
mm,
way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything in your life.
mm,
So, and if you don't know in control of your emotion, you easily react, you always complaining, you always blaming.
mm,
What kind of life are you creating around you?
mm,
So, and doesn't matter how good strength you have about money. I mean, if you don't have the ability to create a good relationship, a lovely and nurture relationship, because the most important thing, money is important, but the quality of relationship that you have with others is important too, because we need connection, we need bonds in order to feel happy and feel fulfill our lives. So, and that's when I come from, for me, like, oh, it's important to me teach other how heal their life, and make them and educate the when they heal their life, everything start to change in their life.
Mm.
So I'm teaching for my own story, and I help other because I see how much powerful it is when we start to take actions, and for us,
Mm.
and yeah, that's my story.
Hmm. Wow. I'm looking at your Instagram. Is this the correct Instagram? This one here?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. So when we're sharing this, that's a very powerful story. Thank you for sharing your story. Um, so your message is really healing emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, because most women, inside of me, the problem, the problem always was my belief. I mean, the belief that I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to receive what I mean, my old problem all my life was I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And I'm not good enough to have a healthy relationship. And I'm not good enough to get that freaking good job. And I'm not good enough to create wealth. And I'm not good enough for anything because in my side, my subconscious minds always have that mind, the voices of my childhood.
Hmm.
So in your childhood, you create. We forgot the and for me, they never teach me in college that how important is that you deal with your childhood. And I always suppress my childhood because I said that was in the past. And nothing related with my future. Like I don't want to talk about my childhood. I don't want to talk about my traumas. I don't want to talk about that part that was painful. And nobody wants to talk about that part that are painful. So
Hmm.
when you are talking to you, you're talking about me, about it, how successful, how good your parents was. But nobody like to talk about the things that cause them pain.
Hmm.
And when the thing that cause you pain is the thing that you have to pay more attention in your life, because that things they are the holding you back, and that create a chaos eventually in your life if you don't learn how to manage that.
Hmm. 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 Wow. So you take them through a process. It's
It was a process.
mm-hmm.
It was a process.
Mm.
It was.
and
It
and
took me. It took me a lot of years to accept that I had a problem. That's the hardest part because people don't want to accept that they have a problem. They always say, "Ruth, you are a good woman," and I was a good woman. I have a master's degree. I raised two successful daughters. Never have an issue. I don't have to live. I never have a crazy life. And I always say to myself, "Ruth, you are a good woman. You
mm,
don't have any problem.
mm,
You don't have any addiction, you don't have any crazy thing, like you just work and live a peaceful life, try to live a peaceful life."
mm,
But that always was my lie that I tell it to myself. You don't have any problem, you are fine.
mm. And was that part of why you had to leave your corporate job?
I mean, what I that when I that I what made me leave my corporate job was like I have that voice inside of me, like you have to leave your job because you never can make and have the time to build a business. You have to focus on something and learn how to do that. It's like the story that you have to burn the boats in order to burn all possibility to regret,
Mm,
jump in. I mean, it doesn't matter what's going on, what happened in the future, Ruth. If you don't take the risk, if you don't put yourself in the risk, in the you never can make it. If you're still in the comfort zone, you never can make it.
mm. You're still in the comfort zone. Okay, so is that something you work with people on as well? Their comfort zone.
I'm sorry.
Is that something you work with people on their comfort zone? Getting out of that. What is not comfortable? We call it comfort zone, but it's really what has become where they're operating from a place of comfort. It doesn't mean better.
It's,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
feel comfortable.
of course that you have to go out to your comfort zone. I mean, nobody likes to talk with a stranger about how shitty was your life. Nobody wants to talk about with others about how painful my life was, how many failures I have in life, how many things don't going well in the way that I expect, and I feel like a shit. I mean, nobody likes to do that. Do you
Mm.
like to talk about that things?
No,
Nobody.
nobody wants to do that. Yeah.
No. So
Hmm.
that's the thing that you avoid. And like I say to my client, you have to learn how make to dance with the evil parts of you. I mean, you have to learn how accept that parts of you, because as more you deny, reject, and fight with that, that the fragmentation of your psyche come, and the fragmentation of your souls come, like, and you have to learn how to love and integrate yourself in peace, love, and acceptance and
Mm.
compassion.
Mm.
And then is when you can start to integrate like oneness, and you can see the things very different in you.
Mm. So accepting what some would call shadow, what some would call the dark side,
The shadow, the judgment, the inner judge inside of you, that inner child that most people don't know how manage, that's still inside of you. So
Mm.
all that part that made me feel uncomfortable, that made me feel ashamed, that made me feel angry, that I don't like it, that I rejected,
Mm.
is the part that you have to work if you want to be a healthy person.
Mm. Mm. The part that makes you feel shit, like shit. That's the
The
part that.
feel like shit.
Mm.
That's
That's
the hardest part, and definitely you have to be out of your comfort zone, and you have to put yourself to be uncomfortable, and start. And the more, the first thing that people afraid is start to feel that pain again, feel the pain of your abuse, feel the pain of your sexual abuse, feel the pain of the rejection of your parents, feel the pain that the failure marriage, feel the pain that when somebody betrayed you. So feel that pain again, and what the people don't want it.
mm.
People don't want to feel.
Mm. So
And
you.
when I talk with them, you have to feel to heal.
Oh,
You
so
have to
okay,
feel to
okay.
heal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the part that, oh, I don't want to manage. I don't want to work with that. I don't want to manage that. I don't want it to touch that part of myself because that is painful. Yeah, it's still painful because you have to feel,
Mm.
not repress. You have to feel
Mm.
and then let it go.
Mm. Mm. And you believe that every human being on earth has pains.
uh every in less or more scale, all we have faced different failures, rejections, different emotions that we have to learn to manage. Some people have the ability to, because they have more strength than others, and that strength can use it to like a base on their life to be resilient more easy than others.
Mm. 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 It's interesting because I was having this conversation with my lady, just about maybe 2 hours or so before we spoke, and I was speaking about how um, we all have different things that that we're facing and contending with, and the fact that somebody does not struggle with the thing that we recognize does not mean they do not have their own, their own, the things that they struggle with, and sometimes everybody goes, oh, mine is bigger than yours. Like we have that, the ego has to come. Even when it
Yeah.
comes to struggling, the ego comes and says, mine is bigger than yours, mine is more than yours. Oh, you had it easy, I had it but like the other person is thinking completely opposite,
Mhm.
um, and I really like your message. I believe in what you're saying, which is let's heal. Let's get into our feelings and really heal. Heal those things that we're avoiding. Heal those things. And I think your message would even drive home more for men. From
Yeah,
hearing.
men need to heal too. So in the beginning, I was very skeptical because I mean, I don't want to work with men, so I don't want to work with that. And the what I'm seeing is men need to heal also, and there is worse because you see a lot of people that a lot women want to work with women, and a lot of programs, a lot of things that work with women. But when a man going to a man try to find a help or support,
mm,
it's like,
mm,
tell me,
mm,
how programs or coaches do you found in order to help men to to learn with something so important?
mm, mm. In fact, a lot. One of the things I realized from the business, growing up in the business, is that there are two ways to niche down. And I came online recently, and when I joined the online space, and I started seeing how people are talking about niching, and I noticed it. I noticed another way, which is two perspectives. One is demographics, which is okay, age, location, sex, culture, all of that. But I also know that there's psychographics, which is emotions. There are people who have the same emotion. That emotion could be a sense of desire. That emotion could be a sense of an outcome, but they have, or that emotion could be a similarity of pain, or just similarity of beliefs or values, and that could cut across different cultures, that could cut across different sex and race. So being able to, like, there were people who came from far away to come buy the product, because they like doing business with my mother. They like doing business with her. They also like the quality. They like the quality of service, quality of person, quality of people, quality of delivery. So it was an emotional affair why they were coming all the way. So they left their location all the way. They defied the demography. But there were people who were buying because she's close. So we cannot ignore. I really definitely think your message really cuts to men, and we cannot ignore the psychographics, which is people who emotionally connect to your message that might not be in the scope of what the demography you want to work with. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, your message is home more even for men, because men has, in fact, growing up, the message is basically suppression. Man, you're a man, do not cry. So
Yeah. Yeah,
so
I mean that what you resist persists, and that makes that you still failing, not just with yourself, with relationship. I mean, in everything that you try to do, eventually, because I mean, everything's trick. I mean, when you have a wound inside of you, anything that connected to that wound, they're gonna be triggered. So,
mm,
and the reactions make that you start to have overreacting with other people that nothing related what happened to you 20 years ago.
mm, mm. Oh, it's great. It's great to have you share your message with us. Share your story as well. That takes courage. In fact, one of the things I saw, and we don't get to talk about it a lot, is that it must have taken a lot of courage, right? Leaving your job, stepping into your, you don't even like, in the beginning, you don't really know if people want it. Like, you only know that this is what you went through and this is what you want to help people with. But it takes a certain courage to even test it out and say, okay, do you want it? You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I mean, I never dared to do that 1 year ago. Everything that every time that I think about it, I feel so scary myself. Like hell, I never can make it. I mean, quit my job and no, I try to scale my business like part time, like go with my free time and try to do things. But then I say, hell, that's impossible. Like, it's a very huge conflict here. And in December, I start to you because all years that's the story. Like that the lie that we tell. All years I say, oh, this is gonna be the last year that you're gonna still in the same way because I was so uncomfortable with my job and I don't like that job.
Mm,
And I said, oh the story the same. Oh, that's gonna be the last year. This year is something's gonna change. That's gonna be the last year.
mm,
But when I was confronted with myself in December, said, Ruth, you said that that's gonna be the last year.
mm,
So what do you do differently this year
mm,
to make that year different in yourself? And
mm,
I said, well, I have to quit. Like I have
mm,
to quit. Like it doesn't matter. I mean, if I crash, I mean, I probably have the chance to start over and still learning from my failures. But I have to do something different this year to make my life different.
Yes, and you also have the right ideas, which is you reach out to people for help. Like you know, you understand the importance of getting help from the right professionals who has made it their life calling to help in these areas. You know, and you, I mean, you're also offering yourself as a life purpose and mission that your business is a purpose, it's a mission. You know, it's in itself um, uh, here to heal the human consciousness from emotional trauma, and it's beyond you, and it's a part.
It's beyond. I mean, until you have trauma, that diminishes the possibility that you can be successful in all life and all areas of your life. You're gonna struggle in relationship. You're gonna struggle with money. You're gonna struggle the relationship with you have with yourself, with others, with friends. Everything around you gonna feel the impact of your own wounds, or your own struggle, of your own insecurities. Everything's gonna have an impact.
Hmm. Well, thank you very much for coming and sharing your message and story with us. So, what is the best way to contact you? Facebook or Instagram or your website?
Facebook, they can reach me in Facebook, Instagram also.
Okay, that's Rut Elisa,
Rut
uh,
Elisa. Yeah.
Elisa. You speak Spanish or what
Um,
language? You speak
Spanish is my main language. Like, if you don't see my
Wow.
struggle when I was excited here, like
Yeah,
try to pronounce it.
yeah. Um, you're pretty much bilingual. You know, that's great. All right. Thank you very much for coming today to spending time with us.
Thanks for having me.